Hey everybody, Miff here, and welcome back to my Completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with the SCS mod. So let us continue with our management and identifying and purchases. I also need to identify this club +1 that we got from that, from Crom and Caldo way back. Now, I have to think whether yeah, we're going to rest, I think, after making these purchases, but now let's talk to the Lanter and actually get some goodies. First off, we're going to sell a lot of stuff, a lot of this basic stuff that we've been able to identify. As you can see, this Cloak of the Wolf, this Relayer's Mistake, actually sells very well, so that's pretty nice. Now we also have some goodies here. A bastard sword, 3 long swords, yeah, very nice. Then we have these bracers of armor class, they sell pretty well. Oh, the short sword +1 we won't need. Alright, so now we're at a pretty good financial situation. Now, I'm also going to get these scrolls. Maybe hold person for him when... level 3 is so stacked for mages. I'm not sure I'm going to ever use that, but, you know, I always like to have options. And now, I also will buy some of these green scrolls, but I think this is going to be at a later time. I'm going to get 1 potion of freedom for sure, and I should have gotten these potions of regen much earlier. Those are pretty good for just healing over time when you're going through a map. They actually heal for quite a bit. These potions of magic blocking are really good, but this is something for later, I think. And also, I think what I'm going to get is some of these acid arrows in preparation for our battle at the bandit camp, because I will want Kivin to do as much damage as possible, and these ones not only do they do 2d6 acid damage, so from 2 to 12, but they also do not allow a saving throw to get away from receiving no damage. Like arrows of fire, for example. Like he doesn't sell those, but we have those on Kivin. As you can see, they only do 1d6 fire damage, and they also allow a save versus spell for receiving no damage. Whereas, of course, these arrows, these acid arrows, there is no save, so they will always deal that damage. Plus, acid damage is a type of damage that opponents are almost never resistant to, which is also sometimes relevant. Yeah, we have the proper cloak equipped. So let's buy some of these arrows for Kivin. You buy them in stacks of 5. Let's get 50, maybe. This is still pretty cheap. Let's get a full thing. A full 80. Alright. Now, also, what I would like to get... I think, well, we can show off these Robe of the Archmagi. There are 3 types of them. As you can see, the good Archmagi, the neutral Archmagi, and there's also an evil Archmagi version. And they are pretty much the best robe, kind of like an all-around robe. Nice saving throw bonus here. The magic resistance is pretty much doesn't matter. And an armor class of 5, so sometimes on like multi-classes or dual classes you free up your bracers slot. Now this is, I've mentioned that before, but this is so silly when it comes to Enhanced Edition. Look at this litany of of all the classes and alignments that cannot use this robe. So from all of these entries, like 30 entries, you'd have to deduce what class and alignment can use this robe. And in classic Baldur's Gate, it would just say, usable by good aligned mage. That's it. And that's all you need to know. And imagine being new to the game, not knowing, well, you can kind of, you know, figure out what a robe of a good Archmagi is. But, you know, it's just so silly. So these robes are pretty good, but are also very, very expensive. So we're not going to get them. And then there are these two items, the Cosgrove items, and I'm going to talk more about them, I think, once the story unfolds enough, so that, you know, we kind of uncover a little bit more of our origins, I guess. But this Claw of Cosgrove, I think I'm going to get right now. This is a cursed item. As you can see, may only be removed with a remove curse spell. And believe it or not, it's a ring, by the way, this Claw of Cosgrove. And as you can see, it has some downsides. It lowers your constitution by 2, and it also gives you a big penalty to your save versus death, which is an important save. This is basically the second most commonly used save, and save versus death regulates kind of, you know, your checks against poison or paralyzation or instant death effects of some kinds. Like there are some spells, for example, that instant kill you. This is basically Baldur's Gate 2 territory. But like Finger of Death, for example, is kind of like an instant death spell, and that one uses the save versus spell saving throw, and I think Wail of the Banshee uses save versus death. So it really is not that consistent, but this is a pretty commonly used save. However, the bonuses of this ring are also pretty nice. +1 armor class, +4 versus missile attacks, and then +3 for all the other saves. Primarily, of course, save versus spell matters here. So I think I'm going to get those because these items are like kind of closely related to our protagonist. And like I said, I'm going to elaborate on that later. And I always kind of use them on my, well, not always, but it really makes sense to use them on your protagonist. And of course, like I said, this save is an important one. But, you know, what is life without a little bit of risk, right? Having this on our protagonist, like with such a penalty versus for her, the save versus death. Well, man, that's going to be, we're going to be playing with fire here. And the -2 constitution actually doesn't do anything for her because her constitution is at 14, so she doesn't get any bonuses for hit points from constitution anyway. That's a major downside for someone who gets bonuses to hit points from constitution, like Kirinai, for example, would lose 10 HP if she lost that to constitution. So I think I'm going to get that. Oh, and the Horn of Cosgrove is also a pretty useful item. It only lasts for 3 rounds though. It's a usable item from your quick slot, and it grants you immunity to levels 1 and 2 when it comes to spells. It gives you another armor class big boost versus missile attacks, but also, you know, +2 to all of your saves. And this damage done to user is known. It's 10 crushing damage, so actually you can kind of cheat out of that damage if you have mirror images on, for example. The damage is just going to, you know, or stone skin, for example. The stone skin or mirror images will soak that damage. So this is a pretty good item to use as well. And those items you can also, well, one of them you can export them to Baldur's Gate 2, which I'm not going to do. I think I'm going to go with the Helm of the Balduran. But, you know, it's something that those are significant enough, or they were supposed to be like really significant. And I'm going to talk about that later. And I think those are all of the goodies that I wanted to get for now. Actually, these ones, these protection from cold and protection from fire, are actually nice to have in scroll form so that your mage can memorize other level 3 spells. I'm not sure if I want to memorize those with Imoen. I will memorize this hold person, but I'm not sure about these protection from cold and from fire. I think I will memorize them. Alright, so I think our identification session for now is kind of finished. Let me just reorganize our inventory a little bit. Alright, so I am going to use this Claw of Cosgrove instead of this Ring of Protection, and we're going to get an Amulet of Protection for her to use when she's not using the shield amulet. You know, basically the thing with these items that cast a spell is that you can just equip them, cast a spell, de-equip them, which is something that you couldn't do in the classic Baldur's Gate 1, where it's just unpaused when you were in your inventory, but that's a completely different topic. Anyway, item cursed. So now we are equipped with this Claw of Cosgrove. This ring can go on to Kirinai, I guess, to improve her armor class and saving throws a little bit. Alright, anyway. Now we have this blur effect. I think I'm going to remove it in between videos, but this is what the Cloak of Displacement would have also granted us, this kind of permanent blur look.
I am here.
Alright, so we're done with the lantern for now. Now we're going to go to Baragost. We're going to rest there, and we're going to also... Oh, it's nighttime, so not yet. We're going to get our Ankeg armor from Teram.
Certainly.
Alright, so let's just rest now. Now Imoen has 6 identifies at her disposal. So let's just use some of them. This is that wand of magic missiles that I said that it has like really a high amount of charges. So this is Ashidina. Finally you get to see what we're wielding when it comes to Seneshira. That's her main hand weapon. Then we can identify this amulet. Yeah, savors a spell +2. Just a really nice addition from the enhanced edition. Really nice to have. Now I guess we could identify this Boomerang Dagger and some of these more unique items. So this is Mail of the Dead. This is something that you can also import into Baldur's Gate 2. It's a decent chainmail, but we're going to of course use it for a source of money. Now this Boomerang Dagger, as I've said, this is a magical dagger, so it returns to the wielder's hand when thrown. It has the 2d4 damage +2, and it's supposedly a THAC0 +2, but I don't think it's implemented properly, because when we equip this and we turn on its ranged mode, see the damage is here, 14 to 20. Jesus, that's pretty insane. But the THAC0 stays the same, so it doesn't seem to. It says that it grants the +2 to hit, but it's the same as when using these thrown daggers. So I think it doesn't. Maybe no, it does receive the dexterity modification. I'm not sure. I would have to look into it. Like right now, I don't want to waste time to just closely inspect all of the details, so I might look into it in between videos. No, I think one of these scrolls is one of them is the true protection from magic. Okay, this one. The other one is cursed. So we might not identify it just yet. I might just identify. Okay, we're out of identification spells. So that's it for now, I guess. Let's visit Teram's shop. Okay, it's still kind of dawn, I guess. Let's rest. Okay, we're going to rest once more, but now we're going to prepare for our journeys. So I am going to have 1 shield, 1 chromatic orb, I guess, for some mages that are protected with shield. I'm going to have like 2 spooks and 2 magic missiles, I think, in preparation for her getting level 5, which she is really close to getting. And now that we have all these great level 2 spells, I think we need to have a mirror image, at least one of them. I would also like to have glitter dust, some invisibility maybe, but invisibility can be gained from potions. Horror, we have a wand of fear for that. You know, webs and mirror images and glitter dust is pretty much kind of like my go-to selection, I think, for Baldur's Gate 1. You know, unfortunately, I really like having parties with more than 1 mage. I feel like this is just so little space. If we had Edwin in addition to Imoen, then we would be able to like really have some spell bonanza. we would be able to have a spell bonanza. Yeah. Alright, let's rest once more now. Oh, and actually, I need to buy something from you, dude, but I need to be at max charisma. We're going to get this amulet, the protector. It's your usual, like, protection +1 item. And I think this is it for now. We might get this glitter dust scroll if we want to just cast it from a scroll. And let's see, we can sell this here, although I think this is the max amount that you can get for it, but we'll check at Tehran's. And you can also sell this bowl. I'm not sure if you can...
Yes?
We might be able to sell this bowl to Officer Vi
It is
here.
done.
She can buy some unique items.
Can I assist you?
Yeah, we've been busy. Nope. But you can see that she actually buys stuff at a higher price. There is a couple of items that we can sell to her. And basically, in order for her to stay past Chapter 3 here, is for you to always have at least one bandit scalp in your inventory. Just kind of a little tidbit of information.
Yes,
Alright, let's check
indeed.
out if our armor is ready. Alright, it is. Beautiful, isn't it? Like, normally I would skip this, because we have really no use for it, really, for this armor. I mean, Kevin is going to be able to use it for now, but soon enough we will have a different character instead of him. So, and plus, in the bandit camp, we're going to actually get another one of these full plate mails, which are a little better. But I've done this because this is the completionist playthrough, and you know, as I said, we're going to make all of the craftable items it mostly matters in Baldur's Gate 2, but as you can see in Baldur's Gate 1, you can also kind of craft some items as well. Alright, so now I think first we're going to explore Larswood. Basically what my plan is here, before we visit the bandit camp, we're going to do this Larswood area and this Spiderwood area, as it's kind of known. And I think after that we're going to go to Peldvale, and we're going to kind of recruit ourselves there to infiltrate the bandit camp. I'm, you know, getting a little bit ahead of myself, but yeah, that's going to be basically it. By the way, let's inspect her saving throws. Since our Cloak of Displacement and our Amulet of Protection kind of counterbalances our massive -4 penalty from the Claw of Cosgrove, we still have a pretty good save versus death. But all of our other saves, like check this out, spell at 10. This is pretty decent. And these breath sometimes matters, wand not so much, and petrification polymorph sometimes matter, but they are, you know, not that important. All right, so let's go first to Larswood, I think. Oh, and this is the Amazon group ambush. So you better, your answer better be the truth, for your life depends on it. Well, if we say the truth, she's also she's also going to be willing to kill us, because there is no getting out of this encounter. This is the second bounty group that SCS relocates to this kind of like an ambush scenario. You insolent pigs! Alright, so basically these Amazons, they are all of course immune to sleep. They are basically level 5 or 6. Now these two, Telka and Manera, they are fighter thieves. One of them is an archer, I think, and the other one has darts of wounding, and they also, I think, are pretty likely to use some invisibility potions and whatnot. And these two, Zila and Lamalha, are clerics. So this can be a pretty dangerous scenario here. I think Telka is, or Zila is a higher level cleric slightly from Lamalha. And I think we're going to try to silence her. We'll see how that goes. Kevin, you know what? You're going to try out your nice arrows, because I really want to interrupt her spell.
Nature's servant awaits.
Now, Jaheira, because she's probably going to start out with a spell as well. So let's try to interrupt that with the Wand of the Heavens.
What?
And maybe let's try out our Boomerang Dagger. Imoen, she's probably going to get targeted by these archers, by these ranged damage dealers. Senashira is going to try and limit their damage dealing capabilities. And Imoen, I think she's just going to move for now. I'm going to wait a little bit to see what kind of spell is necessary, whether I need to drink a potion of invisibility to get her out of trouble, or maybe just cast a quick mirror image. That sounds like a fine idea, I guess. Also, since Senashira is so stacked when it comes to her armor class modifiers versus missile, -16, I think I should probably give one of these things to Imoen. Maybe this belt Imoen can use, so that her armor class versus missile combined with this robe can, you know, have a little bit of a boost. So let's just move her for now and see how it goes. Alright. So yeah, Zila and Lamalha have some clerical pre-buffs. I guess Telka here, I think, starts out invisible. I think she's going to start out with a backstab. Let's just mirror image with Imoen. Now Lamalha's spell, because of that Wand of the Heavens attack, was interrupted. That's very good.
Yes.
You should be using the ranged component of this. I thought this was the ranged component. If we set it to this, your Thaco is even worse, and your damage is worse. I'm not sure what's going on with this Boomerang Dagger. It should be way better. And I like quickly looked it up in Near Infinity, and I think it's supposed to be... It's supposed to work better. I think it's properly, like, at least from a quick glimpse, I thought it was implemented pretty well, but I guess this is not meant to be. Alright, so the silence is underway. Kivin is trying to interrupt. What's her name? Zila. Alright, Imoen has mirror images now. Keep moving. Alright, Lamalha seems to be interested in attacking Imoen.
What?
Zila casts Unholy Blight on Kivin, so Branwen is also going to get damaged by that, but maybe Senashira can get away. I think she was able to. Alright, but Zila is now silenced. So let us focus our... and she's badly injured. Telka, I think, attempted a backstab on... yeah, she did backstab Branwen for 12 damage.
Hello?
Branwen needs to switch to a melee weapon.
What do you want?
Now, she is silenced, although she is badly injured, so I would like to remove her, since she's already so low on health. But Lamalha is not silenced, and she can still cast something pretty soon. So I think I'm just going to focus my attacks on her. Imoen should have a melee weapon, but...
I am here.
Senashira can keep chasing Maneira, I guess, so she doesn't use these darts of wounding.
What is your life?
I think we're set for now. Branwen, just defend yourself. Alright, Lamalha got killed by these sweet arrows. Look at this, 16 damage just from one arrow, you know? And Kirinai, of course, being a beast with these thrown daggers. Alright, now, silenced Zila should be no threat for us. So we're going to switch our attacks. Maneira is injured, but she is too far away, I think. We're going to just attack someone who is in our range. And that is Telka. Imoen can just keep moving. She is protected by these mirror images, but just maybe do a quick slingshot. Alright, this is no problem. Senashira managed to finish off that other fighter thief. And now we can just, you know what, Kevin, you don't even need to use these arrows anymore. Those were very useful, weren't they? I love acid arrows. Alright, so this was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And they have really good stuff. 19 of these darts of wounding, so she only managed to throw one of them. And like, this is a leather armor +3. I think that's called Protector of the Second. Anyway, very good potions. We have Third Oil of Fiery Burning, so our Armageddon Tactics arsenal is, you know, keeps growing. This, you can hold on. This is that potion of magic blocking that Thalanter had in his stock. So this is nice to get one of them for free. Can you identify those? Nope. Not yet. I should have sold that bowl of Umberly when I had the chance. Some more arrows of fire. That other fighter thief had 20 arrows of fire, so that's pretty nice. And just a longsword +1. Who needs some healing potions? Branwen needs some. Alright, and let's check out this one. Lamalha. She has a potion of power, which is really nice, and I should have sold that plate armor that Kivin carries. Because these sell like not that well, but it's still something. It's still a little bit of a gold. A potion of stone form here. A potion of power is a really good one, because it gives you a 20% boost to your Thaco, 20% boost to your hit points, and if you're also a thief, it gives you some bonuses. But it's mostly a combat potion. That's what's most important about it. Alright, so those two bounty groups, Molkar from a couple of episodes before, and now these Amazons, are now dealt with, so we don't have to worry about these ambushes anymore. So let us proceed to Larswood. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to because of all of these purchases and all I wanted to say about the different types of items and whatnot, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to finish up. Or maybe this can be a little longer episode, because there are some 3 things basically to do here, and I think some lengthy ones. Maybe we're just going to do a part of this in this episode, part of this area. I am first going to progress to this northeastern area, because there's a certain fight I want to do there. Kind of 2 fights really, a 1-2 punch. So this is going to be kind of like a druidic area with 2 druids. And we should probably buff up before this a little bit, because they can be, well, it depends how everything goes, you know, whether you get some spell interruptions on them or not, but it can be pretty tough. You have nothing.
I am here.
Senashira is going to buff up with her shield amulet, because there are going to be some helpers, some pretty hard-hitting helpers that these druids are going to have. There are going to be some bears that can pack a punch.
You've a task?
What else do you have here? You know what, maybe we'll try out this Call Lightning, because I think we're going to rest before the bandit camp once, after doing some of these areas. So I think I am going to cast that soon. Alright, let us proceed. It's a little bit further.
Yes, indeed. I am here. It is done.
It would be good for you to watch your actions while in this wood.
So here we have Osmadi saying, "Arrogant fools, you return to the very slaughter for which you were responsible. Your blood will soak the ground before I allow any of you to leave. I will avenge the deaths of my brothers." It's like, what are you talking about? We've killed no one. "You think your excuses can work on me? I know what you are, what all of you are. Let the wrath of Malar destroy you and your faithless companions." Malar is kind of like a god or deity of beasts. Alright, so he's a pretty high level druid that starts already with iron skins, which is kind of like a druid version of stone skin, which is going to soak up a couple of physical damage attacks. So if we want to interrupt him, we would be wise to do, maybe let's use some of these fire arrows, although they do allow a save. But let's try out this, and maybe a little bit of magic missile to interrupt him. Let's spread out.
Yes?
Senashira, I think, is going to go forth. Yeah, he has these cave bears, and once his pre-buffs trigger, he has 2 animal summoning spells, so there's going to be quite a lot of different animal helpers. Defensive Harmony increases his armor class, Barkskin affects his armor class, Armor of Faith is the damage reduction, and Bless and Remove Fear. So he's quite pre-buffed, and unfortunately we cannot use any of our AoE attacks, really, because there's this guy, Corsone, here, whom I don't want to make hostile by damaging him just yet. So we need to just do some ranged attacks for now, and perhaps Senashira can sneak in some lightning damage from Eshidina. And let's just kind of spread out and wait with that magic missile until he starts casting. Right, so see, she hit him with Ashidina. The physical damage component of it was soaked by his iron skin, and but the lightning damage still went through.
What is your command? Yep. You for the group.
Alright, are you going to cast something, dude? Or not yet? Actually, yeah, Jaheira needs to go forth, because look at all these bears and stuff.
Fair enough.
I really wish I had that glitter dust memorized here. Maybe we can spook one of these bears.
Hello.
And these cave bears are pretty dangerous. They can hit pretty hard. Alright, so we're dealing damage to Osmadi pretty handily.
Ah, what now? Need your bundle?
You know, cave bear saved versus our spook.
It's better to die on your feet than live.
Alright, some fire damage from Kiven. Karenai, of course, being a beast. Alright, now he's casting.
What you want?
Let us try out some magic missiles. Alright, never mind. Kiven already took care of him. Alright, Kiven, you can switch to some normal arrows. Now we need to deal with all of these wild animals.
I am here.
We need to focus these cave bears, I think. First of all, and Branwen is getting damaged by that cave bear.
They
You know,
already
Branwen,
sold your
wow.
face.
You need to drink a potion, and I think you need to run. To minimize the effects of that bear on you.
By your
Yes?
command.
It is a fine
These bears, man. Alright,
I am
let's
here.
focus our attacks on the remaining ones.
For the fallen!
War dog. I hate when games make me kill dogs, dude.
It is done.
Alright, so here comes Corson when this battle ends, the battle music ends. Yeah, so NPC Project here. Senashiro recognizes that they are Druids. And I think that was supposed to trigger before. I'm not sure. And also, this is another NPC Project dialogue here, when she asks about Malar. So I'm just going to click through. And this is pretty cool, where you can have your protagonist actually have a little, you know, explanation of who Malar is. This is the Beast Lord. Yeah. His powers cover monsters and marauding animals. Another related stuff. Yeah. Very fantasy-like way of speaking. None of those crusty old fossils were able to explain it quite so easily as you did. Also, one thing I have to mention is that normally in SCS, when you have the SCS version 30, which I think is still the latest version, because it wasn't updated for a long time, I think. Although an update is in the works, I think. Anyway, there is some kind of a bug that makes the game crash here, and it's basically related to, I think, Osmadi's spear. Normally he's supposed to have a cursed spear +3 called the Bagbiter, and I think something is wrong there, and when he attempts to attack or something like that, a crash occurs. But if you just replace his spear, if you edit him, I replaced his spear with a spear +1, I think, or a spear +2, a normal magical spear, this crash doesn't occur. So that's how it goes, I guess. That's pretty nice. And this is something that she should say, I think, after this whole thing is ended. Anyway, he should initiate a conversation.
Civilization seems far, city dweller.
So Corson here says, I must apologize for the actions of Osmadi. He had lost his mind after what happened here. Some days passed. A group of bandits calling themselves the Chill entered our camp as we worked upon the shrine. They killed and murdered everyone they came across, including some of Osmadi's close friends. So, why did you let us attack Osmadi? From the sounds of it, you knew him well. It's true, we knew each other very well, but there was nothing that could be done. He had lost his mind. I think you can understand that. Sometimes one doesn't have a choice. So this is another NPC project that makes you feel dumber, because you can, of course, push your questioning of Corson yourself, but this is just kind of a hint, I guess, if you're first playing the game, I guess, and you have this mod installed. Yeah, I urge you to press on with your questioning. So yeah. It's rather hard to believe that you would write off a life so readily. Come now, there must have been some other choice. There was no other choice. Do I have to explain myself over and over? So now here's your companion, because he wants to bury him. That's very strange indeed. I don't know of too many people who would go about murdering their companions. I murdered no one. I did what had to be done. And finally, you are correct. I did need your assistance to kill Osmadi. Thank you for the help. By the way, you were wrong about one thing. I am no common killer. I am a shadow druid. I poisoned Osmadi and his companions so that we could be rid of their weakling presence. Now we should easily be able to make this land our own. So shadow druids, we're going to learn more about them later on in Baldur's Gate 1. There's also a kind of a plot revolving around shadow druids in Baldur's Gate 2. But they're kind of like a very militant, very kind of battle-oriented, no-compromise kind of faction of druids. You are but a mockery of a druid, woman. Alright, so let's wait for his pre-buffs to kick in. So he has... It doesn't say that he has iron skins, but...
I am here.
Oh yeah, this one I think doesn't. But I think he does. Barkskin's graphic kind of overrides his iron skins, it seems, but you know, it clearly is active on him because it ate the physical portion of Senashira's damage, and we didn't interrupt his spell. I think he might be casting a... Okay, now it got interrupted. Alright, so we're cool. We're cool. They can be a little dangerous. I think they can cast some... I think he especially has access to Insect Plague, which is a level 5, very powerful druid spell. Alright, and since we're already over time, I am going to end this episode here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to continue our adventures in these areas in the next one, and that is when I will see you again, I guess.